Hello, teachers. This John11, 1 through 46, part 2 lesson is different. This is exciting. This is a day where students are going to be the teacher. So you get to sit back, not totally relaxed, because you're going to help facilitate a great experience. But this is their lesson to teach, not yours. Their success will largely hinge on the day before as you actually teach part 1, the story of John 11. That if you can help them to identify principles in this lesson and to write them down and to really see the scriptures teach us lots of cool things with this part 1 lesson, they're going to then use everything they learned there for our part 2. So make sure that they're writing down principles and really getting into it. So when you start on day 2, this part 2 lesson, you will need to do a review because it was so yesterday where they had this great experience. And so we can start with a quick review. This will be you leading the review. You can show a picture like this, or you can do the example that it has here in the manual about maybe have a 2 summarize and draw stick figures of Mary, Martha. Just don't do that with Jesus, but just have a fun review, quick one. Who remembers who Lazarus is? What happened to him? What are Mary and Martha doing? What did we learn? What principles did we learn about trials, challenges? What do we learn about Jesus from this? And just have them refresh. And so yesterday is now in the forefront, and they remember that was a great lesson, part 1. And so then you're going to tell students that they're going to be the teachers today, and they're going to learn, they're going to use all the principles that they discovered to teach a lesson. And it's going to be fun, they're going to do great, and it's going to be the best lesson of the year. So just let them know that. And so they're going to have 3 options, really. And I want you to review these 3 options before you decide. Option 1 is you're going to have some principles listed, and they get to decide which one they're going to use. And they'd use these 5 questions to prepare a lesson. But at the end of the lesson, there's some optional alternative ideas. A second idea could be that they're going to pick a principle and they'll draw a picture that depicts the principle. They'll think of a story which illustrates the principle, and then they're going to find some scriptures that highlights the principle. So that's a second option. Third option is they're going to pick a person depicted from John 11, and they're going to write about the account from that person's perspective. So they're going to be Lazarus or Mary. And they're going to kind of get deeper into it and share what they learned from being there. All 3 are good, but I would suggest this lens. You don't choose based on what you think would be the funnest or the most exciting, but you think of those 3 and say, which one would be the biggest blessing to my students? And then do that one. I'll share just 1 or 2 quick tips that I think would work with any of these as we address how to be successful this day. And so I'm going back up to the default idea of pick a principle. So you've got 5 principles that maybe you discovered the day before, plus option 6, which is any awesome principles that are not listed here, but that students came up with the day before. Big tip number 1 is write these down somewhere so students could look at them, because if they're going to prepare a lesson based on this, we need to see them clearly and remember what they are. So whether you write these on the board, or maybe with part 1 lesson you had everybody write them in their journal, but if a student wasn't there, you need to help everybody today have a great experience. So write the principles down or print them out, but everybody should be able to look at them. And then to get this going efficiently, we need to have students choose right away, which one do you choose? Which one are you going to prepare your lesson on? And then write students' names next to their chosen principle. And so if they're choosing, you say, I'm going to give you just a minute, you got to pick which one, and I'm going to write your name on the board. And so Sarah and Bob choose 1, so you write their name there. And Mary and David choose 2, you write their name there. And then you've got some decisions to make. You know your class best. And so if your class does great with assignments like this, and you think they'll have a great experience in the preparation, you can give them more time, and maybe the bulk of the time. You can give them 15, 20 minutes, and they're going to go deep, and they're going to, this handout has 5 things that they're going to look at to kind of prepare an outline for their lesson. And so if you think they're going to just have a great experience and do this really well, give them more time. And maybe not everybody's going to have time to do that. That's okay. If this is what's going to be best, spend time on this. If your students are a little bit more distracted and they get off task more quickly, then you might say, I'm going to give you 8 minutes to go as far as you can in this. Just do great, get as much as you can, and we're going to do our lessons in 8 minutes. And so your class might benefit more from the teaching than the preparing. You decide how to balance that effort. When it comes time to teaching, you can do a number of things. You can, if you think that your students will work well in groups of 2 or 3 and everybody can teach, then you can organize it that way and say, we're going to teach now, and we're going to have you get 3 minutes each, and you're going to just teach a lesson in 3 minutes. And that way everybody in class gets to teach. If you think that small groups don't work as well, or that might not be the best option, you can invite a couple students to share and say, we're going to have a couple of you teach. And maybe you choose your older students or somebody that you think would do well with this and would be a blessing to your class. For fun, you could say, I'm going to put everybody's name in a hat, and we're going to pick out as many teachers as we have time for today. And that's how many are going to teach our lesson today. Or you could, if you're going to devote most of your time to preparation, you can say, we're out of time. And so we're going to have you teach your lesson at home. I'm going to email or text all your parents and let them know that you're ready to lead out in family scripture study, or to teach a lesson at the dinner table tonight or in the morning, whatever it is. But you can invite the teaching to be done at home. The goal is to have a wonderful experience. And this is just a different day, so have fun with it. Know that your students are capable. You can have confidence in them and the principles that are powerful from John 11. Thanks for all that you do to bless individuals and families.